Peoples, it's your girl Lola GRACE checking in your space, not too much in your face, on this edition of what I guess I'll label as Lola GRACE Raw, Uncut, and Unfiltered, because this really is a serious issue that has been going on in Nigeria now since the beginning of this month, and it is in regards to the anti-SARS protests that have been going on in the country. Now, what exactly does SARS stand for, you might ask? SARS is a special police force, or a special branch of the police force in Nigeria, known as the Special Anti-Robbery Squad. And it was created back in 1992 to help combat people, not cause, crimes associated with robbery, fraud, firearms. So basically, back in 1992 in Nigeria, a lot of robberies, house robberies would be going on. People would target, not people, but a small percentage of the population, which were criminals, would target houses that were, very elaborate and look like they were in, well-situated areas. And a lot of house robberies went on back then, but they still are not as prevalent now as they were back then. Another thing that SARS was created to do was combat fraud. So in Nigeria, you have people known as 419, known as Yahoo Boys, who will do internet crimes by, getting unsuspected people overseas to send them money through communications on the internet. Now, I want to go on ahead and say that is a very small, minuscule percentage of the Nigerian population that actually does that. Not a lot of youth do that. So what was SARS actually doing as of today? They would see youth dressed nicely, wearing nice clothes with their cell phone, nice shoes, and they would target these youth and get these youth who were actually innocent and weren't the perpetrators of any crimes, and they would get these youth to actually give them whatever money they had on them. And if they did not give them this money, they will cause the youth to actually go to the ATM to withdraw money to give to them. So basically, these SARS police were actually the perpetrators of the very crimes that they were sent out to address and to rectify. So basically, Amnesty International also reported people that from January 2017 to May 2020, at least 82 cases of torture, maltreatment, killings, and at least 82 cases of killings, torture, and executions and maltreatment of victims were going on by SARS police. And when we say 82 cases, you have to understand that is a very conservative number, because basically a lot of times when outside agencies report deaths and killings, they use very conservative numbers to report that. So basically, it had to be at least probably going on 100, but well over 82 cases that actually took place by these SARS police, who were abusing their power and in no ways being held accountable for the acts of injustice that they were carrying out against their own citizens, a lot of them being youth. I mean, some people even reported that they would rape women, like in the cars that they were in, force them to leave the cars and take them places, and just all kinds of ill maltreatment towards the citizens. And basically, Nigerians have really had enough. It has become an international issue. It has become an issue that has been known all over the world, not just in Nigeria. Hillary Clinton, former Secretary of State, tweeted in solidarity with the peaceful protesters. So did future president, I'm claiming that, presidential hopeful, and former Vice President Joe Biden. He also treated in solidarity with the victims, along with Queen Bee, Beyonce, Rihanna, and even Nas. When Nas was introducing his new music video on yesterday replaced me, he even basically brought up the fact that in Nigeria it doesn't make sense that, protesters are protesting against killings and you're killing them. So when Nas brought that up, I was so inspired. I was like, yes, Nas, thank you. Thank you for giving hip hop a voice like this. So basically that was, very inspiring towards me. I mean, that was very inspiring for me to know that we are not alone and that people overseas, even though they're not directly affected by these protests, they're still affected by it in America because the same thing is actually going on in America. So for people to feel unified and feel the fact that they can stand up for people in another country, that meant so much to me. So basically, you might ask, so what exactly, caused that? So you might ask exactly what caused that day in October 2020 on that Tuesday in which the Nigerian police opened fire on innocent victims. What led to that before that happened? What was how did the whole thing balloon into what we now know is the killings that happened on October 20th, 2020? So let's take it back to the beginning of the month of October. Basically, the Nigerian president Buhari sent a tweet to 45, Donald Trump, and he sent a tweet to him basically wishing him well because of the fact that he contracted COVID. Now, around the same time that Buhari, the Nigerian president, sent this tweet, there was already a video clip that went viral all over social media in Nigeria in regards to Sars police actually brutally killing two innocent unarmed victims, which were also youth. And so a lot of people were talking about that. It had went viral. There was no discussion from Buhari, the Nigerian president, as to that video clip as it relates to what justice needs to be done or how justice needs to be served for the lives of those innocent victims that were killed in the video clip. So now a very popular and well-known Nigerian artist by the name of Wizkid basically sent a tweet saying, Buhari, president, like, yo, face your own affairs, mind your own business, face your own country and what is going on in your own country. Face that and deal with that before you go sending some tweets or some Donald Trump all over. Before you go sending a tweet to Donald Trump all the way in America, face your own affairs. He did not bring up anything about that video clip in which innocent lives and innocent blood was shed. So after Wizkid, sent that clip, boom, it was like a lightning bulb went off, and like all these famous people, entertainers, civil rights leaders, protesters just were sending, messages back and forth saying, yeah, we need to organize something. We need to have a protest march. Like, we really need to do something. The only thing that it was lacking or needing was one person to spearhead the movement. And so another very popular and well-known Nigerian artist by the name of Fowles was basically like, yeah, he set a date and a time. So if you all think that Twitter was being lit for no reason and that they weren't going to meet, or if it was just child's play, they prove you wrong, because after Fowles set that date and time, hundreds of Nigerian youth came out in that protest march, which would be the first of many protest marches to happen in that country. And this is all beginning in this month of October. This all began in this month of October, the early parts of this month of October. So when I tell you these protest rallies were lit, they had people barbecuing, cooking, grilling, playing ping pong, playing cards. Entertainers were performing to entertain the protesters. This was all being done. They were playing protest music, and this was all being done in a very peaceful and collective manner. There was no violence, there was no shooting. I mean, people were really coming out to have their voice be heard, especially if you had youth that were very well educated, high potential, have the potential to do so much. A lot of these youth, they might not even have had jobs because of the current state of the economy and the fact that the government is not doing what it needs to do for a citizen. So of course, if they don't have jobs, of course they're going to come out, in support of the protest. But not everybody at the protest. I'm not saying that everybody in the protest didn't have a job, but I'm just saying it gives people that are not working due to the failing economy more reason to actually go out and protest. So basically, some reports said that some protests have raised up to like the equivalent to roughly $200,000 in support of raised $200,000 for medical assistance, legal aid, security, as well as to feed the protesters that were there. So you can see that the protest march were actually very organized, and I do not want to exclude mentioning the pivotal and important role that women have played, in the protests, not only in Nigeria, but all over the African diaspora. Women have, really took the leadership roles in these protests, and they have really stepped up to the plate to do a lot of the organizing, spearheading, and they have underpinned a lot of the movement. And I really want to give shout outs to them most, especially because in a country like Nigeria, they still have a lot of backward views in regards to the position and places that women should do, in regards to the position and places that women should achieve, and in regards to limiting the professional attainment for women, especially in the realm of politics. So I really want to give a shout out to the women who played pivotal roles and who are still spearheading the movement of protests in Nigeria and all over the diaspora. Nigerians came through, people. Thousands of Nigerians came through in the UK and London. Hundreds of Nigerians came through in Atlanta, DC, California. Like, we're everywhere, especially due to the fact that Nigeria is the second most populous country in the entire world. So Nigerians are everywhere. You go to Iceland, we're there. So basically, yes, on that Tuesday, October 20, 2020, it just got to the point where the government started getting scared, and they were just basically like, nah, man, we can't have these protesters to continue doing this. We don't know when they're ever going to stop or when it's ever going to end. So that was the time the Nigerians thought that they had the Nigerian government, just basically did made a bad move, y'all. It was a very bad move that they actually killed innocent protesters in Lagos on that Tuesday, October 20, 2020. And it is estimated that at least 12, because before when the reports first came out, they didn't have an actual number of people that were actually killed. A lot of reports were saying only one person was killed, but a lot of the protesters that were there were saying that the police, after the shooting the victims, were even picking up the dead bodies and taking the dead bodies, which is absolutely gruesome and horrible. They killed the victims and then they took the bodies, so it's actually going to be harder than. And they killed the victims and they took the bodies, so it becomes hard to account for the actual amount of deaths. But some reports say that at least 12 people were killed in 2 suburbs in Lagos, and that 38 total were killed on that Tuesday, and a total of 56 were killed throughout the month due to the protests nationwide. So basically, this is serious because, at least in my lifetime, this is the first time that, Nigerians would come out in such voluminous amounts and in such unified force with a unified voice in such huge amounts in Nigeria, because a lot of times when injustice goes on, because a lot of the time when injustice goes on, whether it's due to Boko Haram, or when it was a few years back the raising of oil prices, the diaspora would come through. The diaspora didn't come through as hard as they came through with these SARS protests, but the diaspora, UK especially, because there's tons of Nigerians in the United Kingdom, they would definitely come out. And they would give their support, for the country. While on the other hand, in Nigeria itself, a lot of people, were not coming down because of the very thing that became a self-fulfilling prophecy, which was actually the fact that the police killed people and people did not want to die. So actually, these protests are a huge sign in the direction that shows that the Nigerian government cannot continue to get away with the way it's treating its citizens. Enough is enough. Our parents' generations might have been able to take whatever the government dished out, but this millennial generation and this generation of Y's and Z's are not standing for that. They're not just going to let you treat them any old kind of way and get away with it, And this has nothing to really do directly with whether Nigeria should stay one. It's not really about Nigeria breaking away. It's about the Nigerian government being held accountable. These SARS protesters were getting away with horrific acts, and they were not being held accountable. Now, the whole thing is on a world stage. The whole world is watching Nigeria. What is it going to do? What is it going to do? Is it going to, rectify the situation? There have been 5 points of requests that the protesters have brought to the Nigerian government. Stating everything from even paying the police more money to having some police go through psychological testing before they're put back on the force. But I mean, the 5 requests, you all can Google them, are very, straightforward, and they're just basic things like, having the police do what they say they're supposed to do. Yes, Buhari did say he was gonna disband SARS on October 11th. He said that, but there have been so many promises that have been made in regards to disbanding SARS in the past. It has not really come to pass. So basically, we are now watching. The whole world is now watching. What is Nigeria going to do besides kill its citizens? I mean, this needs to be rectified, because at the end of the day, the Nigerian government doesn't even want to take responsibility for the fact that they opened fire on innocent victims. Some protesters were actually saying that they took down the cameras. The cameras in the area right before they killed the citizens, the cameras that were in the area, which is a very developed area in Lekki, they're saying that's a part of Nigeria that it was in. They're saying that they took down the cameras so that they wouldn't have to be held accountable for their actions. But this absolutely cannot continue to go on at the rate that it's going on. The injustices are too much. From the protests might have just began in October, but these injustices in this country, in which, the Nigerian government has really been devaluing its citizens and killing its citizens and treating us worse than animals. I mean, it cannot continue to go on. I applaud and commend all the protesters, both in Nigeria and in all over the diaspora. I commend them. I commend all the people of notoriety that have been coming out in support of the Nigerian peaceful protesters. And in America, America is going through similar issues with their police. And it's very sad that, you know, it's very sad that from America to Nigeria, the same thing is going on, in which innocent lives of black people are being devalued and undervalued. It's really sad that, you know, Nigerians are doing it to their own people, and it's really sad that American police are doing it to its own citizens. Please, people, just continue to make your voice heard, make your voice known, stand up for injustice in whatever way you can that is peaceful, people. That is key. But you know, I want to also send my condolences to all those who lost loved ones. You know, all those who lost loved ones due to the Nigerian protests, as well as due to the American protests, and as well as due to, you know, any type of Black Lives Matter protests that had been going on. I want to send out my sincere condolences. I want to send out my sincere condolences to all those who lost loved ones and all those who have loved ones that were slain, from Trayvon Martin to Eric Gardner. The list goes on. I want to give my sincere condolences to everyone. And yeah, people, so basically I also want to say in this video that, you know, I feel like it is very important for Nigeria to have a unified voice, such as and to have a unified movement such as the Black Lives Matter movement that is in America. You know, I'll be, you know, keeping track of the progress that is being made and give you all an update. But I think it is very important for a unified body organization to exist in Nigeria, to give a unified voice to the protesters. They can also be an organization that can also be recognized internationally, just as Black Lives Matter is known all over the world. So yes, people, Black lives do matter, whether they're Nigerian lives or American lives. They matter. It is important to vote, people. You know, the election day is quickly approaching. It is important to make your voice heard, vote, and yeah, because out of all those people, you know, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Donald Trump, I don't even think he issued any statement in regards to what has gone on in Nigeria, you know, and this is the president of an entire country. So yes, people, it is very important to vote, make your voice heard, make your voice known, stand up for what you believe in, stand up for justice, stand up for equality, stand up for unity, stand up for all those who are being marginalized all over the world. You know, when you vote people in power that actually care about these issues, a change happens and a change occurs. And in the words of the late Sam Cooke, people, keep hope alive because a change is gonna come. Thank you so much for your time and for checking me out on this medium, on my YouTube channel. Stay tuned for the update that I give you all in regards to what has become of these events. So I hope to do an updated video. I hope to do a video in which I update you on the progress of the current situation at hand. Thank you. And in the words of Sam Cooke, people, a change is going to come. Keep hope alive. Peace, love, and music. Lola GRACE. Peace.